All right, it's Ethan MUSOLINI, the merchant of success once again. And today's subject is Excellent Customer Service 2.0. And we are going to explore the 6 winning strategies. Of course, we also give you skill sets. Now, just to give you a heads up in terms of how I run these training sessions is that I look at 5 core components. We look at the clarity, meaning what is it and why is it important? We look at the mindsets, which are very important. Then we look at the strategies to deliver on this particular subject, in this case, customer service. And then we also look at the skill sets. So the strategies are the big picture, the skill sets are the tactics. And then finally, the mastery is about how do you own this information? And for us who are attending live, the beauty with that is you will have colleagues to share with, to discuss with during the breakout rooms, the breakout sessions. So that's the framework. So let's kick off with clarity. Now, for me, my favorite perspective on customer service is Mahatma Gandhi. Is one of my favorite personalities. There are really 3 guys I really find extremely admirable: Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, and Martin Luther King. From the business world, I like Richard Branson, who is also very passionate about customer service. Now, so that makes it 4 guys. Among the ladies, my favorite would be Oprah Winfrey. I like the difference she's making to the world through impacting the world. Now, so that gives you an idea.
Come on, 11.
I like. Now, I like this quote from Attain, who says that a customer is the most important visitor on our premises. He is not dependent on us, we are dependent on him. He's not an interruption in our work, he's the purpose of it. He's not an outsider in our business, he is part of it. We are not doing him a favor by serving him, in this case him or her, he's doing us or she's doing us a favor by giving us an opportunity to do so. That's Mahatma Gandhi. So, and today when I was sharing this quote also on Facebook Live, I talked about how some people, and this is part of mindset, part of the mindsets that really kill people is when people enter into an organization, and by the way, customer service doesn't only apply to corporate entities or for-profit entities, it also applies to non-profit entities. And because then there are people you're serving anyway. And when I was sharing this quote earlier, I mentioned how some people sometimes, they make a very strategic error by thinking that when a customer calls that they are in an interruption. And the moment you think or see or imagine that someone is an interruption, then your service levels automatically drop down, because you won't put your best foot forward. And if you forget everything else, here is a mindset that is extremely crucial for you to remember, in that if that person is not there, then then your presence is not relevant. I will give you an example. Right now, I'm speaking to you because you're here. If you aren't here, then I would be speaking to my laptop. So I should take it that you're doing me a favor by giving me your attention, and therefore it's an opportunity for me to be of service, because you could have been somewhere else. That's what we mean by favor. So the customer could be somewhere else. Now, once the customer is in front of you, and when we say customer, it could be someone going to give you money, or if you're in the non-for-profit space, let's suppose you're working with refugees. Well, if those refugees weren't there, he wouldn't be there. And besides, the donors or the funders are paying you a salary to make sure that you're of service to those people. Either way, you have an opportunity before you to be of service. So here are some thoughts to plant in your mind. According to Investopedia, customer service is the direct one-on-one interaction between a consumer making a purchase and a representative of the company that is selling it. And for the non-for-profit, it could mean, you know, a consumer of your services. They may not purchase them, but they're a consumer of your services, and you're a representative of the company or organization that is dispensing that service, that product or service. So this is from a for-profit definition. I also wanted to give you the other distinction for non-for-profit, because some of us are in a non-for-profit space. So when we talk about excellent customer service, because excellent, the word excellent is from the word excel. So when we say excel, we mean going an extra mile. Talking about an extra mile, I'm already thinking about what else could we do past the 40 days series. I have some thoughts around that. The other one is a great attitude, because your attitude is part and parcel of the service. It's not just you giving this phone to someone when they come to buy it. It is what attitude are you bringing to the table? They made research in a hospital many years ago, and they were asking people, what do they value most when it comes to service in a hospital? Is it So they made research, and this is what they discovered. They were asking these patients, and they asked them, so what is most useful to you? Is it the quality of drugs? Is it the quality of the facilities? Or what is it? And they discovered that what was most crucial or most important to them, to the patients or clients for this matter, was what they called bedside manner, meaning the attitude, the energy, the vibration you bring to the table. When we talk about excelling, we also mean warmth. You see, anyone can be grumpy. Everyone can be, it is common for everyone to just have a straight face. It is excellence that will bring warmth, where you choose to smile, where you choose to look happy, or to at least pretend that you're happy. Talking about happiness, by the way, there's a difference between a natural smile and a fake smile. A fake smile does not cut it. When you go here, have you ever gone to these, let me see if I can get closer to my screen. You ever gone to these places where someone says, happy to see you. I'm happy to be here. Good to have you here. You know, that's very plastic. A natural smile should, you know, it should come from your heart. You should smile from ear to ear. Your eyes should smile if it is a sense of warmth, so to speak. So smile from the bottom of your heart. And the quickest way, by the way, to smile from the bottom of your heart, you have to love people. Consciously find a way to love people. If you consciously love people, then the warmth will come. You're seeing me smile right now, and it's because I genuinely, passionately love people and want to make a difference. So you being here and me sharing this wisdom makes me happy, and I'm happy to see you. So therefore, I don't have to struggle to smile. It automatically comes. Oh dear. And ultimately, it's about exceeding expectations, meaning, so for example, I'll give you an example. These sessions are supposed to start at 4, and there are people who come in at least 10 minutes before time. And I'm like, wow, these fellows are exceeding my expectations. And also, if I can give you more, and when I say more, I mean, even if it is just the design of these slides, I could have just, you know, flashed words and that's it. But the design alone is a way to just exceed some expectations. So what is it that you can do to exceed expectation? If you just do what is barely expected, then you're just satisfying the customer. You're not exceeding their expectations. Timeliness. So that's, for example, you had me say when we were starting, I said, look, I'll make sure that we always finish on time. I really want to keep that track record, because timeliness is part of service. And you notice we start on time, we finish on time. And that's on purpose, because we should, as a team, we should value your time, to know that, hey, we start on time. By the time you come, the room is open, and we told you by 6, and by 6, it should be done. That's timeliness. So when you promise, now the other trick though is Sometimes you may promise something and something out of the ordinary happens. Then you alert the person. Say, you know what, I apologize. I noticed that I won't be able to make it on time. And the key thing is, do not wait for someone to call you. And it's amazing that some of us, for example, I remember, I believe yesterday, Goreti Nabanoga yesterday sent a message, say, you know what, today, I apologize, I'll be late because I'm in a meeting. Now, that shows high levels of professionalism. This is someone who is even just coming to attend. No, she's not the one presenting, but that shows you the level of awareness. So when I say timeliness, yes, I know there are those extraordinary things that might happen. Then you do what I call, you renegotiate, okay, the social contract. And I say social contract means someone expected you to at a certain time and you didn't. A service mindset. You see, there are people who just work and it's like a job. No, it's not a job. You're here to serve. It's the first law of leadership. The first law of leadership is service. The first law, I almost said first law of creation, but I believe one of the core mandates as to why you're here is to leave this world a better place. And to leave this world a better place is through service. So that's why, for me, when I'm thinking about all this, it's beyond just a job, it's a calling. And if you can, and that's why I go back to that idea of you knowing your purpose, because if you know that what you're doing is based on purpose, then you won't struggle with serving people because you're living according to your calling or to your purpose. Therefore, if you find yourself struggling to be of service to people, then there is a big chance that you're in a wrong job or you're in the wrong industry. So my humble suggestion to you is find a place where you can fully express yourself, where every day you wake up knowing and excited and looking forward to being a person of service. Okay. The other key is information. Part of service is information. I'll give you an example. When I go on a few occasions when I've gone, when I say on a few occasions where I've gone to see a doctor, when I say a few occasions, generally healthy, so I really thank God for that. So in a few occasions where I've gone to medical practitioners or doctors, there are two kinds. There are those who say, oh, you have this, okay, then we'll give you this. And they say, okay, they find out what the issue is, then they give medication or something like that. But you know, my favorite doctors, they are those who go forth and explain. See, okay, you're doing this is why this is happening, and we are giving you this alternative medication, whatever it is, because it will do this and this, or it might feel dizzy, and if this happens, do this. So, you know, someone is providing me education. And let's go beyond the information. Let's call it information and education, okay? So the 21st century service provider is not just an information providing professional. They are also providing education and transformation. When I say transformation, it's about also changing people's mindsets and attitudes. That's transformation. If we go to a medical professional as an example, if they can change your attitude around how you eat or how you exercise and all that, now they have not just provided a service, they have not only provided information, they have not only provided education, they have provided transformation. So I want you to think about it. There are three levels: information, education, and transformation. And as such, I would like you to excel. One of the ways to excel, and Samantha, you could help me capture this such that we put it on our pages. You know, in the those three levels, for us for you to really stand out from the crowd, you have to think at that level, to think beyond information to transformation. And then, of course, follow up. I like it when someone gives me a service and then calls me, oh, by the way, we did this, and I'm just curious, how is it working? Is everything okay? And I'm like, wow, that's so cool. So when you follow up, you stand out from the crowd. When you serve your clients, it's not so that it's not just a transactional relationship, it should be a transformational relationship. And for that relationship to be transformational, there has to be some follow-up. Follow-up is not just also about your product or service, also to see how people are doing and feeling. It's also about solving a customer's problem, not to show them. You see, there are people, when you have a challenge or a problem, they want to show you that how you are in the wrong. And that's not solving the customer's problem. That's just you making them feel wrong. That's not a healthy way. So you're there to solve people's problems. Therefore, if you find that when you are in your workplace or whatever service that you provide, whether in a for-profit or non-for-profit, if you find you get frustrated by the problems people bring before you, then again, you need to rearrange your attitude, because again, you are paid to solve problems, especially when you're a leader or manager, your problems are even bigger. So please note that part of your salary, even though it is not part of your, even though it doesn't show in your job description, ultimately your job is to solve people's problems. Because if there are no problems, then there wouldn't be a need for you to be hired. So just let that sink in. If there were no problems, then why would you be needed? Because sometimes I find people say, oh, I'm tired of these problems. I'm tired of customer complaints. I'm tired of, well, that's why you are paid. That's one of the major reasons, even though they may never have stated that in your job description or in a
Yeah, members, I think Ethan is off.
Yes, I think we lost him, Justin.
Big connection problem, eh? Network issues.
He's reconnecting back. Hello.
All right.
Yes, sorry about that. Ethan is getting back on in the next few minutes, yes?
Samantha?
Yes, please.
At this time, I think today we've hit a record attendance of 72, just to thank everybody who has shared the information.
Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah.
The numbers are growing by the by the moment. We really thank you.
And today's topic is quite unique, of course, for customer service for everyone.
Samantha, the numbers are rising possibly because you're offering a great service. That's why we continue to recommend your service.
Thank you so much. As we wait for Ethan to reconnect, actually, kindly type in the chat what you have gotten so far from what he has discussed and what he has shared. Yes, kindly type in the chat and then we could discuss that in the moment. Okay, so Immaculate says, that was very useful to us in customer care. Dealing with customers isn't easy, but these sessions are making life easier. Happy to know that, Immaculate. Thank you for sharing. I really do agree that there are points when customers walk in and they don't want to listen to you, and yet they're coming to you for help. So it's really, really good that we are getting something. Joanna says follow-up of customers is my take home. Great to know that. Yes, we really ought to follow up. Dorothy says great attitude. Okay, so I kindly request that we mute ourselves to avoid interruptions. Dorothy says great attitude is key in customer service. For your information, customer care cuts across all professions, not just front desk. That's very, very true. It's not only front desk, because even for every service, even someone that works at the gate, the person that works at the gate does need customer service as a session. Godfrey says customer service is not only for the profit organizations, but also in the non-for-profit. Beneficiaries are your customers. Great. Thank you for sharing, Godfrey. Emmanuel says going an extra mile and exceeding expectations is my take home so far. Thank you for sharing, Emmanuel. James says, is there another session tomorrow? Yes, please, James. We have sessions for the next 20 days. Today is there are 40 sessions altogether. Today is day 18. Nathan, you could help with a quick math, but we do have sessions and they run every day from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So every evening, a few minutes to time, you'll be receiving a Zoom link and you'll be able to find the information there on how to connect and join in. So yes, there will be sessions every day till 13th August. Thank you for the question, James. Nasosi says, Nyonyozi says, giving information, educating, and later are transformed. Follow-up is a great deal because unless the customer feels satisfied, the service is not complete. Yes. You don't want to leave people hanging. You want to be able to find out what was what we offered good enough. You want to be able to really follow up. And when you offer good service to someone, they are going to refer. So there's going to be more business and clientship for you. So it's always good to follow up till the end. Okay, Nasozi Sylvia says the quotes by Mahatma Gandhi is putting me on form. Great to know that. Very, very intelligent man indeed. Immaculate says, true Emma, going an extra mile, even not only with physical interactions, but also in telesales. Okay. Patricia says, great attitude is my take home. This session is an interesting one. Thank you. I'm so glad that we're even, before we get to even the end, people are already getting great take homes. That's very, very good to us and for everyone. Betty Ajambo, I have learned the importance of follow-up. Follow-up has been a big problem. During this lockdown, hospitals have not been following up on patients and some have died without them caring. Wow, that's a very, very big, huge example. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, thank you. It's really well explained, Betty. Thank you. Okay, James says thank you so much. Ojupa Michael says his take home is making courtesy calls to clients to find out how they find the service at large. Okay. Godfrey Kalunji says very frustrating when receptionists give very, very good customer service and other managers and directors of the same organization give very bad, careless customer care. Okay, very frustrating. Okay, listening to your customer first and keep listening to your customer first and take key points on what he or she wants or in need to. Yes, we really need to be able to listen in. Listening is very important. And I believe in one of the sessions, we're going to have gaining skills on listening, because listening is not exactly, it's not as easy as someone would think, because it has a number of things that are entailed. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Harriet says we are there because of the customers and not the other way around. Okay, thank you so much for those. And for those that would like to, those that are just joining us for the first time, we'd like to let you know that there is sessions for the recordings of the previous sessions that can be accessed on a link that Nathan could please share on the group, on the chat. And right now, each recording is going at $97. That's over 90% discount limited for a limited time. Okay, Nathan, kindly type the sales recordings into the chat, and then we'll be able to pick on from there. Please keep sharing what's your takeaway so far and how you're finding the session. And yes, please feel free to interact as we wait for Ethan to join us. It could be experiencing something actually bigger than what we thought, but kindly keep the conversation flowing as I reach out to him once again. Okay.
Facebook.
Okay, please keep the conversation flowing. Let's have more people share what has been your takeaway so far. As we wait for Ethan, he's trying to reconnect. Okay. So I mentioned kindly my mistake. The recordings, all of them all together, the whole set is $97. Yes, that's the offer. So for those that are interested, you could kindly reach out to Nathan or Andrew, that's saved as Success Africa. That's saved as Success Africa in the participant in the chat, and kindly reach out to him for details on the recordings. Other than that, let's kindly continue to share what's your takeaway? And for those that have been with us, kindly share your experience of how it has been from the time you joined. Are we practicing? How are you finding what you have learned? Are you practicing it? Any experience someone to share? It could be a lesson from maybe last week or previously. Kindly share what your experience has been in practicing what we have learned during this session so far. Kindly share your experiences. You could unmute in case it's too long for you to type. That's very fine. You could raise your hand and I will invite you to speak, or you could just type if you're fine with that. Okay, so Nathan says, hello friends, spoken to Ethan. He had a few technical glitches, but will be back soon. Okay, it's getting started. Thank you so much, Nathan, for letting us know. Yes, and we do really appreciate your presence and your patience so far. Samuel says, service mindset, providing great attitude, information, follow up, and solving customers' problems. These are my greatest part. Okay, thank you so much. Abala says, is requesting to excuse me. Host Abala Godfrey, Fawe, Uganda, is requesting to excuse me. A lot of rain. Abala, if you could kindly retype that. I've not understood it. If you could kindly go over that. Yes. Okay, so let's kindly keep the conversation flowing, sharing what you have learned so far. Okay. Okay, so as we wait for the messages to flow in, Nathan, please come in and say a thing or two on behalf of the sales and marketing of the web classes. Nathan, you're very welcome. Hello, Nathan.
Great. Thank you so much, Samantha. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, please, Nathan.
Thank you. Like I had mentioned earlier, I'm in touch with Ethan. He has a few technical glitches he's trying to sort, and I know he'll be back on air pretty much soon. I wanted to highlight a few things. For starters, this program has been running for the last 18 days. Today happens to be day 19, okay? And we'll be sharing on a couple of topics. But for starters, we have people who have not been plugged in for one reason or another, and we know and believe would be burdened to this issue, would have benefited so much from this platform. We are kindly requesting that with the link I've shared in the group, that you're able to share it with them. It could be your colleagues, it could be friends, it could be people you know. I mean, some of us here are managers, some of us are executives, some of us are officers. So I request that you share that link I've just shared with you with them to enable them plug in. The other kind reminder is that we have a Facebook group. Now, the Facebook group is not just about the current 40-day life and career transformation journey, but rather the current Facebook lives that run at 1 p.m. every day with Ethan, the different products and services that are available that you could plug in about either this 40-day life and career transformational journey, or even other platforms that we know you could benefit from. So I'm requesting that you check and plug into this Facebook for you to be able to get those other updates. I have also seen Emily's request for the share for Ethan's story. I know that several people have testified and have approached us about how much the story has been inspirational and how much they have been able to learn and draw from that story. I request and that you may check and read, not just check, but also read through Ethan's story of the highlights of what he's been through, what he's been done, and how far he's been able to come thus far on the link I've just shared. Thank you for the reminder, Emily. I know you will not be left the same. Additionally, before we go into the feedback, I know Ethan has highlighted that much as we purpose, we chose to say the other way of how we can give back to community and to our people and to our clients and to our partners is by having the current sessions currently going live. However, we have had people who have missed out on these sessions before. We would love to plug in later or even purchase the whole package of what to share with their colleagues, staff members, or subordinates, or managers, none to say. So if you could be here and you're part of that category, kindly share the link I've just posted to the group with your colleagues, or also check it out. Remember, after the 13th of August, which will be the last day.
So why is this subject of excellent customer service important? There are a couple of reasons why this is very, very important. Number one is customers have options that they are more informed, and they are more informed than ever before. I mean, these days, I'm sure for some of us who are parents, you know that the children with this phone, I like how someone framed it many years ago, a few years ago. There's a gentleman I follow. He wrote the book, Peter Diamandis. He's an author and someone who highly, highly recommend that you follow. He said that, look, with the phone, and you have access to more power and information than what a US president had access to, say, in the 60s and 70s. Think about that. So meaning my 7-year-old girl has access to information that, we didn't have before many years ago. So these days, fresh graduates, or even you will find that an intern is more up to date than a manager who has been in an organization for 20 years. It's crazy. Why? Because of technology, because of what is going on. So I'm encouraging you to remember and to remind yourself how you have to stay on top of your game. Otherwise, then the world leaves you. So the customers have so much information available to them and many options. When we say options, I don't want to mention one of the telecom companies that was the first here. And, you remember the crazy prices, at least here in Uganda, and yet a few years down the road, many options opened up, and, the marketplace was went not haywire, but there was a huge disruption in the marketplace. And therefore, it becomes a reminder that not only do customers have options, but they also have more knowledge, more information. And once they are equipped, then you need to treat them with care. And same thing, by the way, the other thing also to remember, what I was hinting with some people, because some of us attended today and didn't attend last time, is that in the same way you find that people who are hiring, they have many options than they had many years ago. So treat those people with grace. Technology is here. You're competing with apps. Some of them don't pay rent. Social media complaints are detrimental. And when I say some of them don't pay rent, what I mean by that is people now can start companies in their garages, in their bedrooms, and they will compete and disrupt a huge company or organization. So size is no longer enough. The question service is. We've moved from the issue of size to service. And even with technology, they say that we need to move from high tech to high touch. Even when there is technology, you still need to remember that you're dealing with human beings. But And yet at the same time, regardless of the size of your company, just know that the competitors you have before you are huge and they are agile, they are quick. And you typically, when people are thinking about competition, the old form of thinking was looking at companies of the same size. And now new ways of analyzing competition is you need to think about those hungry tigers in their bedrooms or in their kitchens working to disrupt you like crazy, because now with artificial intelligence, there are so many things that can be done that were formerly done by human beings. So meaning, whereas a company might require 1,000 employees, now by use of technology, artificial intelligence, and all these tools, someone with just a team of 4 to 5 people can take on a company of 1,000 employees. Why? Because then they can focus on a certain area, a specific area, and engage technology and exceed customer service, and you'll be amazed. And that excellent customer service is a marketing strategy, period. Take advantage. In fact, there are people who believe that it is your best marketing strategy, because you see, I may say one thing and you might say, are you sure this is important? But if the customer is the one saying it and they endorse it, then there's an over 99% chance that you will believe what the customer says more than the service provider says. Therefore, how do you then, you need to think and say, okay, how can I turn my customers into loyal evangelists, into loyal marketing agents? Not marketing agents, but partners. Because then once customers are happy, they become your partners. They start talking about you. Some of you, like who are attending this live event, you're telling me, hey, my friend is the one who recommended. That's it. Because your friend was happy with what the previous events. Now they said, you know what? Yeah, please get me in, or let me go. If you're happy, then it must be good. And here we are. Customer service equals money, all right? Our customers equal money, or at least they bring in money. They're the ones who pay for their salaries, for their rent, for electricity, and for all kinds and forms of growth. Remember, the customer is everything, or at least they fund everything. Now, of course, earlier I was talking about this notion, which I also want to drive home. When we also talk about service, it's not just the external customers. Also, I believe that the beginning, and this I want to make sure that we do not forget, that the beginning of service, of course, has to be with people who are within the organization. Meaning, we have to take care of the people serving the external customers. Because when we talk about customers, we talk about external customers and internal customers. And the best companies I've seen that deliver great service is that they prioritize taking care of their people, meaning serving their people first. Earlier I was sharing on my Facebook Live that you see, the best way to help your children is to take care of your spouse in a wonderful way. If I do not take care of my wife very well, then she'll pass on that anger to the children. If I take great care of her, then she will take care of the children with the same happiness. So in the same way, if you make your team, your colleagues, your staff happy, you serve them the best of your ability, then they will pass on that happiness, that joy to your clients. So I want that to sink in, because sometimes when we talk about customer service, we only think about the external person. And I'm here to propose to you that let's start from within first. Please, if you're a manager, take care of your people first. You do not expect to shout at them and mistreat them, and then you expect the same person to go forward and serve the client with a smile on their face. No, it won't happen. Now, here are some important facts to remember. Across the globe, 96% of consumers say customer service is an important factor in their choice of loyalty to a brand, meaning how you treat people is going to, is extremely important to people. That's according to Microsoft. Then a customer is 4 times more likely to defect to a competitor if a problem is service related, if the problem is service related than price or product related. So usually people will shift to the competitor, usually because of service. That's according to Bain and Company. The other statistic is that 96% of unhappy customers do not complain. However, 91% of those will simply leave and never come back. That's according to the Fast Financial Training Services. Meaning once they're unhappy, they won't speak up, but they will just walk away. Now, that's why in service we teach that, look, when a customer complains, thank them because they are talking to you. They are giving you feedback. That is golden information. Please, in the same way, please tell us if there's something that you're not happy with me or Success Africa, whatever, please let us know directly because that to us is extremely valuable. So please welcome complaints or where people feel uncomfortable because that is priceless. By the way, for me, whenever I go to an organization or let's say to a hotel and I'm unhappy about something, I give them feedback directly because I feel it's one of the best gifts I can give them. I won't go on social media posting and all this. No, I feel it's my obligation to go and give them feedback. By the way, the other thing I do is if I find a high-performing employee and I'm very satisfied with their service, I also quickly make sure that I go and tell the manager, say, you know what, you have a superstar right here. Because I feel I shouldn't only communicate when things have gone wrong, I should also communicate when things have gone right. Okay, that a dissatisfied customer will tell between 9 to 15 people about their experience. And around 13% of dissatisfied customers tell more than 20 people. That's according to White House Office of Consumer Affairs. Now, like this particular statistic, I feel it was, pre-social media. That's my belief also. Again, I don't have data to back that up, but I believe that in the current age of social media, when people are not happy, I believe they don't just tell 20 people. I believe the number could even be much bigger than that. They could even be 100 on average. And attracting a new customer is 6 to 7 times more expensive than retaining a current one. Okay, so meaning you just need to remind yourself that keeping the customer happy is much, much easier than getting another one. Ask any business, anyone who has participated in acquiring a customer, they will tell you how expensive it is to have the technology, the infrastructure, advertising, and all that. It's extremely expensive. But keeping the customer happy, super, super easy. Because I will tell you, some of my clients, I just call them and say, okay, how is family? And that alone makes them smile. Okay. And it takes 12 positive experiences to make up for one unresolved negative experience. That's according to Ruby Neolena. So you need to remember that particular number also, okay? In that when people have something negative, then it takes so many times to get back them on board. All right, now let's jump to mindset because again, now that we know what customer service is, let's jump to the mindset. What's the mindset that is required for you to deliver great service? There are a couple of mindsets that are found very useful. And these are calling the must-have mindsets in delivering excellent customer service. The first mindset, and to me this is my favorite, is treat everyone as if they're a VIP in your life. Treat that customer as if your life depended on it. This we developed over the years because we noticed, because I want you to pause for 30 seconds. I want you to think of the person who you would consider VIP, someone you would love to meet. And as you think about that person, just think about the product or service that you have, whether it's for profit or non-for-profit. Think about how you would serve them if they had a problem or an issue. Think about, imagine that. Now, as you're imagining that, if you had to think about how you would serve them, I'm 100% sure that you would give them the best service possible. And I usually ask, yeah, exactly. I'm seeing many in fact, there's someone who has typed VVVVVVIP. Excellent. You know what? That's what every person you serve thinks. Every person you serve, someone has said that I am VIP, but not for my customers. And I like that honesty in that sometimes we forget that. We know we are very important, but when we are serving people, we forget that they are also thinking that they are very, very important. And my friend, if you carry nothing else and you start treating every human being, every customer as a VIP or VVVVIP, then you would have gotten what true service is all about. Next, that a customer needs me, but I need them more. Fine, they may need you, but you need them more. Because the truth is, the customer will still be here tomorrow or next year, but your business organization might not. Because that's why customers have always existed before the ends of time and will always be there. Guess what? Organizations, not always the case. So just remember that in that respect, you need the customer even more so. All right? The other mindset, which you will find very useful, is to remember that no customer, no business. No people to serve. If you're in a non-for-profit, then you don't have that NGO. No customer, no job. Remember, just if I were, I would write this one, customer equals a job, because then your job is to service the customers anyway. So again, these are mindsets that some of us could have had, but you need to be reminded before we go into the strategies and the skill sets. I want us to have the right mindset, because again, I'm sharing the clarity, the mindset, the strategies, and then the skill sets, and then but it starts here by you thinking right, having the right perspective around customers. The other key mindset is service first. Remember, regardless of your position, rank, or circumstances, a customer must be served. Serve first and sort out your back house later, or your back room later. There are people who want to front their problems. There are people who want to front their complaints. There are people who want to front their concerns. And I'm here to say, oh, but that is too difficult for me to do. But that's too difficult. And then you start scratching your head. No, I'm saying just prioritize making sure that the person is happy. Then sort yourselves out as a team later. And that's something I believe in. Like my colleagues, they know that if there's something they can sort out that is within their mandate of what they can spend, they know they can do that. And then we can talk about a refund or something like that later. Or if it is something that is going to take extra time, yes, that's okay. So long as it was about serving the customer, then you tell us later, sort the customer out first. That should be the mindset. So I strongly believe that if you hold these 4 mindsets in your brain and heart, especially the VIP mindset, because if it's a VIP, think about it, then you know you need the customer. Then you know that that customer equals business. Then you know that that customer comes first. Then you will do whatever is within your powers to make this VIP happy. Because I noticed that when it comes to service, it's not just the lack of tools and resources, it's the lack of the proper mindset. Because once you value the person, then once you shift the attitude, everything else changes. Because at the core of who we are as human beings, we know what it means to take care of people. Ubuntu Uramu. We know what humanity is. We know what Ubuntu philosophy is all about. We know from our core. That's why when you have a guest at home, if there is someone you're looking forward to receiving, somehow you clean everything, you make sure everything is right, you're happy, you clean, why? VIP. This is a very important person coming home. That's what we need, my friend. Does this make sense so far before we go to the strategies? Now, let's talk about the 6 strategies that you can use to deliver excellent customer service. Okay. the first strategy is to set customer goals, customer service goals. And when we talk about customer service goals, you need to ask yourself, what sort of experience do you want to create for your customers? How do you want them to act after your service? How do you want them to behave after your service? So you set a goal. You could say, for example, and say, you know what, for our customer service experience, we want to make sure that people are at least 90% happy. That's a goal you would have set. That when we do our customer satisfaction survey, the goal we have is people should be this percentage happy. That's a goal you create. How do you want them to act after your service? It could be one of your measuring points. You think, okay, if I can get customers to recommend me, then I would be happy with that. Then the other key is you need to understand your customer needs. When we say customer needs, you need to be aware and say, okay, what do your customers really and truly need? And this is not something you imagine or think about, you have to ask. So you have to ask yourself questions like, what are you looking for? Or what are they looking for? What are their problems and aspirations? And take notes, take interest in what they have or what they are going through. What are their expectations of the service that you're delivering? If you're non-for-profit, for example, and you're serving women entrepreneurs, what are their expectations? What are the problems that a woman entrepreneur is going through? Such that then when you're crafting your service, your product, or you're crafting a project, you know that it's exactly going to serve them based on their needs. So that's a very important, this is one of the most crucial steps that you need to take as a service provider if you want to really excel in service. What are their expectations? Do they expect that you engage, you call them every week? Do they expect that you send them an email on a daily basis? What is their expectation? The other strategy is you set up a customer service system. So the system should answer questions like, how do you meet customers? Who deals with which customer and at what level? Because you see, I remember entering a bank at one moment and there was this young man, welcome, oh, thank you for coming. It's great to have you here in this bank today. It's like, okay, wow. That is a touch point. Unfortunately, 1 week later, that person was no longer there. I was like, this is a great idea. Why did you keep this person here? So their job was to welcome us in, to make sure that we have a great experience, in that you have that warm up. Just like in this case is Samantha, who's warms us up. What is the ideal turnaround time? I like this because I remember one of the banks, they have a standard. I remember at one time they had a standard that when you apply for a loan, you will hear from the bank the status of your loan application within 24 hours, or you'll be paid 500,000 shillings cash. I was like, wow. Now, I'm not sure whether that is still running, most likely not, because I've used that bank. I don't remember seeing that offer still. But I felt it was a fantastic turnaround time communication. They are communicating their value, saying, look, either we deliver this by this time or we pay you money. And I liked that. So they have set an expectation. They have told you the turnaround time. Therefore, so you should also be asking yourself, so something, by the way, when we talk about, say, for example, internal customer service, one of the members of my executive communication mastermind members, which is really for C-suite executives, I had her say that, my team knows that when they bring a document on my table, on my desk, then they should expect that within 24 to 48 hours to get a response. So meaning maximum 48 hours, they'll get a response. So that's great internal customer service, at least, and they have communicated that to the team. And not only that, they have also told them, okay, if you have a requisition, bring it on this date. If you have this particular item, bring it on this date. It's called work rhythm. So the people you work with, they know how you serve them. Because again, remember I said that customer service is not just about serving people out there, it's how you are serving people in here, inside your organization, your colleagues. So do they know your turnaround time? Do they know your rules to say, okay, if I send an email to the general manager within this timeline, I should receive a response? Do they know that? If they don't know, please communicate that. Feedback mechanism. What's the feedback mechanism? At the end of this segment, I'll give you a feedback form to know what was your experience like. So you need to find out what your feedback mechanism is, and not just have feedback mechanism, but also to encourage customers to respond. This is what I mean. I've noticed, say, in certain institutions, they'll put, like a box, or they have these digital gadgets for customer service responses. And, let's say in the bank as an example, and there are those tellers, for example, who will encourage you to give them feedback, and there are those who don't even mention it. So it meaning the feedback mechanism is not right. And then number two, it might mean, for example, when you are serving your client, you say, you know what, at least every end of year we'll have a customer satisfaction survey. That's a feedback mechanism. It might mean that every quarter I find out, or for you, if you're a salesperson, because I've seen that we have some sales professionals here, I'll call my client every 30 days or every 45 days. So what's the feedback mechanism? And what are the questions you'll be asking? Next is the personalized experience. Go to where your customers hang out: WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, email. Send anniversary messages. Customize the service, my friend. Communicate to them. Talk to them as an individual, not as part of this conglomerate. Because ultimately, you want to make sure that people feel that touch. They want to feel that a classic touch. Number 5 is single-step process. Equip yourself and other team members with enough information to reduce on the number of departments that a customer is referred to. Make it easy for them. Now, one of the complaints I hear, and I'm sure some of us have gone through this, whereby you have an issue and then you were made to jump through the hoops. They say, oh, go to A, and then A say, oh, no, but now go to B. And now when you go to B, then, oh, no, go to C. If that has ever happened to you, say here, or yes, or type the word Y. Has that ever happened to any of you? Whereby, and you see, and you see the value of great customer service. So someone is talking about how they received a birthday message from NSSF. They're telling all of us here. Now, oh, we are noticing that. So you see, great service becomes your marketing opportunity. So as much as possible, so the rule of thumb here is to ask yourself, how can I make it easy for the customer to get their problems solved? Now, I'm not going to give you rules because contexts are different. What works for Success Africa may be different from NSSF or from bank. Find out, always ask you, how can we simplify this? And the rule of thumb, though, is the fewer the steps, the better. The bigger the steps, the more problematic. So as much as possible, make it simple and short. Next is continuous improvement. Always ask, what more can you give to your customers? Act on both the positive and negative feedback. Keep training and learning. So like for this series, we keep asking ourselves that question. How can we be better? What did we do? What do we need to do better? So we review. Does that mean that we are perfect? No, but I believe we are happy with at least the feedback we are getting. And please, once again, whether it's positive or challenging feedback, please give it to us. But the rule of thumb is never rest on your laurels. Keep pushing the envelope. How can you make it better? think like a technology expert. When I say technology, you see, with people who are dealing in technology or innovation, they're always thinking about to themselves, how do we, by the way, you need to think about the window of innovation. So assuming this is the triangle, so make one side time, the other, so wait, this side, let's make it time, this side, resources, time, resources, and then at the bottom, quality. So that this triangle of innovation is about how can we deliver something of higher quality at a lesser budget in less time. That's a question you ought to keep asking yourself. Then you keep innovating, and then your colleagues, not your colleagues, then your customers will keep getting a better experience. So in technology, with the laptops as an example, it's like the quality keeps getting higher and the cost keeps going lower. All right, so that's the magic. That's how you should be thinking. Okay, so the key thing is, yeah, someone is, okay, I won't mention, just for, someone's talking about how after talking to the tailor, a text message will appear whether your expectation has been met or not. That is for Airtel. I like that, that's good. And Sylvia says, yeah, and I felt like crying. Wow, that's cool. So the key thing is you need, Godfrey was talking about decentralizing power, so that you empower others to make sure that they are able to do things. So that's big time. All right, cool. All right, let's go through what I call the A.W.A.KE model that you can use at an individual level to really upgrade your service. There are a couple of things. A stands for adaptability. Are you able to adapt yourself to the needs of the moment? Because you see, how you serve one client may not necessarily work in with another client. So adaptability means you're so agile, you're on your toes and to be self-conscious and self-aware and emotionally intelligent enough to say, okay, what does this person really need? Then you package your message or your context properly. Because ultimately, you really want to make sure that you are adapting your product or service or how you're taking care of this person accordingly. So for me, that's very, very important and crucial for that matter. So how adaptable are you in the moment? And one of the ways to be adaptable is train your team such that they know that in different scenarios, when this scenario happens, this is what happens. If this happens, this is what we do. And beyond that, just know, and then you give them the space and say, please note that you have the freedom to be able to serve the client so long as that these certain conditions are met. To say, okay, for example, for example, you could say, okay, you can spend up to so much money to make the client happy. And then you account for it. So then that way, the person on the front lines knows that in case there is a challenge, they have the freedom to use their powers to adapt based on the situation to be of service. Next is warmth. Smile. I talked about warmth earlier, but please note that most people, they have problems, they have issues. So do not become an extra problem. All right, people, by the time they come to you, they have enough burdens on their shoulders. So please do not become an extra burden, become a blessing. Become a blessing. And one of the best ways to be a blessing is to smile, be warm. And one of the best ways to be warm to customers is be happy with your personal life. Listen to good news, read good news, find a way to smile, play at home so that by the time you reach at the workplace, you have a smile on your face. And one of the best ways again, is every day look for ways to thank God for the blessings. That's why most of the sessions we've been doing of late, we start with that song of Count Your Blessings, which was exposed to me by Goreti Nabanoga and Susan Abalo, and I'm very grateful for that. So the key thing is be warm, and one of the quickest ways is count your blessings in your personal life, because usually we are unhappy because we are looking at what is not working in our lives, and so we carry that energy into the workplace, and we look gloomy, we treat our customers badly, not because we are bad, but because we are allowing bad energy to overwhelm us. We are allowing bad thoughts to overwhelm us, and then people start defining us as bad. And I'll tell you something, there are no bad people and good people. No, we have people who have adopted a good vibe and then a negative vibe. People who have chosen a positive mindset and a negative mindset. No, at the core, as human beings, God created us as special. Please be warm. Next is attitude. Keep it positive. When I say positive, look for the good. One of the best ways to be great at service is start looking at people and say, what do I like about this person? But there are people who say, and I want to be, they say, those guys from that country, they are bad. Oh, those guys from this nation, they are bad. Oh, those women, oh, those men, that's a negative attitude. So positive attitude means you ask yourself, what is good in this situation? What is good in this particular person that I can celebrate? And I will tell you, if you're alive and kicking, there is a lot to celebrate. And in that person, there is a lot to celebrate. The K is knowledge. Do you really know what you're selling? Do you know the organization you're representing? Do you know their mission, their values, their products and services? Do you know the impact? Please spend time educating yourself. Because wherever you are, remember you are an ambassador. So the last thing you want to see happen is someone asking you a question about your organization and you have no clue. You should know. It should be second nature. If they ask you, how does this work? You shouldn't be, oh, now let me first call these guys. Let me call. Now, all of a sudden, in front of that client or customer, you look as incompetent. You don't want to demonstrate incompetence. You want to demonstrate competence. And competence, because remember, competence inspires trust. And one of the best ways to be of great service is for people to trust you. If people trust you and they feel at peace, then they will talk about it. Then they will engage with your products and services. But people will not trust you enough if you're less knowledgeable. And some of us, even internally, we are not promoted because we are not spending enough time and we are not actually demonstrating these qualities. You're not adaptable, you are not warm enough, you don't have a positive attitude, you're not knowledgeable enough. So these qualities, not only are they useful as in terms of when you're serving other people, it's also a blessing to you. Because when you think about the people who get promoted, they're adaptable, they are warm, they have a positive attitude, they are knowledgeable. And I'm sure they also these other qualities. Empathy. Are you empathetic enough to say when a customer has a problem to step into their shoes and feel what they are going through and acknowledge that? That doesn't mean you stay there, but before you, even when a person is wrong, in quotes, first acknowledge their feeling. That a customer is always right. Now, they may be wrong technically, but they are right. They have a right to demonstrate how they are feeling. They are right in terms of how they are feeling. They may be feeling angry for the wrong reasons, but they are right about their anger. Now, you first acknowledge that, you empathize with them. I'm sorry that you're feeling angry about this. And then you gently lead them to and then you gently lead them towards a solution. Then the C stands for communication skills. Are you clear? Do people understand you? Or you're all mumbled up? So these are things, so one of the things you need to prioritize is mastering communication skills, because then you're able to articulate what the customer is thinking or what they need to think about. And lastly is work ethic. Now, part of what frustrates customers is for someone to come, they knock on your door, and then they no, it's outside working hours. Well, I'll tell you something. Of course, there are contexts. For example, I know banks, they're supposed to close at a particular time. That's it. So I'm saying that apart from certain contexts where you know that time is a must, I mean, if it's a plane and you're moving, you have to go, you have to leave, you have to take off. But I'm saying you have to be willing to work. And when I say work, it's not just time, just as an example. When I say work ethic, there are customers who will bring issues that require you to work extra during the weekend to serve them. That is outside your timelines of work. And I'm here to propose to you that the work ethic is extremely crucial for you as an individual. If you have all these qualities, you're adaptable, you're warm, you have a positive attitude, you're knowledgeable, you're empathetic, you have excellent communication skills, you have a great work ethic, then you are an absolutely valuable asset to your organization, whether for profit or non-for-profit. But here is the key, like I mentioned, if you have these qualities, I guarantee you, like night follows day, one day you'll be promoted. And if you're not promoted, someone else already knows about you and they are looking for ways and means to poach you and take you somewhere else. So what do we need to do then to master all this? What we need to master is we need to develop a customer service model with at least 6 steps for your company, organization, or business. And when I say 6 steps, I really mean this. This is something that you need to pay attention to always. These strategies, okay? And not only strategies, but also work on yourself as a person. So these strategies, you need to pay attention to them always, because once you pay attention to them and you're setting customer goals, you set customer goals, I beg your pardon, and then not only you setting customer goals, but you make sure that the service is personalized. You make sure that you know the customer needs. You make sure that you know the, just to recap again, so you know their needs, then you set up a proper system. It's a personalized experience. You single-step process as short as possible. You have continuous improvement. Then you would be truly, truly a master around this particular idea, okay? So when you go to your breakout rooms, this is what you're going to discuss. And if you're watching this as a recording, this is what I want you to discuss. What did you find most useful in this presentation? And how are you going to implement the lessons moving forward in your life and career stroke business? So this is what you're going to discuss. So Stephen is asking, is customer service time same as customer turnaround time or customer service time? Well, it depends. If they say customer service time, it could mean the timeline where, not the timeline, it could be we take care of customers between this time and this time. That could be the customer service time. But turnaround time means how much time it will take. It might take 2 hours. So it really depends on the context. And I hope that is clear. And then Godfrey asked, Godfrey Karunji is asking, is it possible to design a special program on excellent customer service for the non-profit teams with additional befitting examples? They need it. Yes, I agree with you, Godfrey, and I would be more than glad, as Success Africa also to do that. A few of them have, and a few of them are not aware that indeed they need this. They think, just because you're offering something for free to someone doesn't mean that you do not offer excellent service. No, wrong. So I feel if they also offer excellent service, you actually get better feedback, and then the donors pay attention to this, and then they actually give you more money and further opportunities. A customer service charter, how can it be well defined? Well, Alex, that's a great question. So a customer service charter really is typically like something you are upholding as an organization to say, okay, these are the standards. This is our promise to the customer. For example, you could say we always respond to emails within 24 hours, or we always uphold professionalism. It's like a promise you're giving to your customer what they should expect from you. So that's typically what a customer service charter is. What should we expect from you? All right, so I hope this has been, yeah, so Samantha, you could, okay. So please note that let me pause this.